Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Guns and Guitars. I'm Dan and I've got an awesome bass kit for you. Now, one of my most popular uploads on my channel is about a $65 bass kit that I found on eBay that was a surprisingly good value. Now, I've got excellent news for you guys because the $65 bass kit is back, and this time in jazz bass form. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars, and I'm going to tell you where I found this thing for 65 bucks as I unbox it, build it, review, and demo it for you. I know some of you guys are probably peeing your pants right now saying,
Dan, where the freak can we get a $65 jazz bass kit?
Well, the same place that I've been getting all my cheap made in China music gear lately, Tomtop. And now I'm sure some of you guys are thinking,
oh, you're just a Tomtop fanboy. They probably have you on their payroll or something.
Now if you are thinking that right now, you're right and you're wrong. Because one, I am a Tomtop fanboy. Because it's where you can get a DIY bass kit for 65 bucks. Why wouldn't I be a fan? But you're also wrong because two, I've never accepted a dime to promote Tomtop's products. In fact, I make fun of their products all the time. Fireware. And I even told you guys when they sent me this pedal that was a total dud. So, I'm not in bed with Tomtop, so you can trust that if they ever send me a crappy product, I will let you guys know. However, that being said, they do know about my YouTube channel and they do treat me very well. So, I'm relying on you guys to tell me if you ever have a bad experience with Tomtop. If they're not a good company to deal with, just tell me and I'll stop promoting them. But as of now, they've taken really good care of me. In fact, they finally gave me this kit for free to review, probably because of all the business that I've thrown their way. So thank you, Tomtop, for the free kit. I'd say I owe you one, except for at this point you probably still owe me a few. But that's enough of that stupid disclosure stuff. Let's get into this kit. Now this kit is branded by Ammoon, the same company that made that awesome mini looper pedal that I reviewed. The first thing I noticed is while it's a standard 3-piece basswood body that you'd expect at this price point, it actually has beautiful wood grain. Mine does have a knot in it, which most people would consider a flaw, but I honestly just think it adds character. But still, look at this thing. This is the best wood grain I've seen on a basswood kit. I'm sure I just got lucky. I wouldn't expect them all to look this good. The neck has excellent figurine in it as well. Now the fretboard is actual rosewood, so it was probably imported before the import-export ban on rosewood. So if you get one soon before the next shipment, you'll probably actually get a rosewood fretboard instead of a Blackwood Trex fretboard that a lot of these cheap kits are starting to come with. Something else about the neck that you'll notice is that the headstock is not pre-shaped. Now the stock photo up on Tomtop shows a pre-shaped headstock, so I was actually really thrilled when it came with a blank paddle. That way I can shape it into whatever I want. Last thing about the neck, the frets look like they haven't been touched at all, so I expect they're probably going to need to be leveled and crowned. The neck fits in the neck pocket pretty snug, and upon closer inspection I noticed that it had been shimmed at the factory to get this tight fit. Now that's pretty cool because most of the time they would just send a cheap kit like this out with a sloppy neck pocket, sort of like that 51p bass that I reviewed from Bargain Musician. So I thought it was pretty cool that they actually fixed it at the factory. Lastly, the kit came with standard crappy hardware and cheap electronics. I expect some of it will get the job done and some of it will need to be replaced. And lastly, this kit came with some unexpected assembly instructions. Again, something that I haven't seen on these really low price point bass kits. The instructions seem to be some sort of hybrid between Chinese, English, and Google Translator. And they read: installing the spring screws to the bridge, drilling holes to install the bridge, pay attention to the string distance, fixing the bridge by the screws, installing the ball ends of the strings to the bridge, winding the other end of strings to the string tuners, and tuning well the bass, then DIY electric bass is completed. What more could he ask for? No, coloring needs to be finished before installations. Crap, I missed that step. Yeah, don't expect much help from those instructions. Okay, now let's assemble it. Overall build time was just under 2 hours. Of course, that doesn't include any sort of paint or finish, because I just left it raw for the sake of this review. Everything went together as planned, except again, like that cheap P-bass kit, there was no hole drilled for the bridge ground connect wire. So again, I just ran it straight to the bridge temporarily. Now, some people argued that a P-bass has a humbucker in it, so it's really not necessary to ground it, although that's not actually true. But in this case, these are single coil pickups, so even if you're gonna make that argument, you still need to have that bridge ground connection. So we're gonna have to fix that later. Now I gotta say, the pre-wired electronics made installation of the pickup super easy. The only soldering that was required was connecting each pickup to its respective pot, and then that was it. Okay, it's time to hear how it sounds. As always, this is just the raw input signal, no EQ, no amp simulation, and because it's a jazz bass, I think it deserves to play a little bit of jazz. sounds like a jazz bass. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm floored by the sound. It's definitely in the same category as some lower end Squier basses. Probably still a step up from a first act Walmart bass. I actually liked how the neck pickup sounded and how the neck and bridge sounded together, but the bridge pickup on its own sounded a little bit too thin to cut the mustard. And also, I didn't demo it because I never used the tone control, but this tone knob here does absolutely nothing. And I did check, it is wired correctly, so it probably has a bad pot or capacitor because turning it up and down does absolutely nothing for the tone. As far as playability goes, I was actually able to set it up with a good low usable action with only minor fret buzz. Now, if you want this thing to play like a really high-end instrument, you're at least gonna need to do a fret touch-up, if not a full fret job. Hey, watch it, the granite person. I got my eye on you. But even still, as it plays now, totally usable. So let's summarize. Things that are cool. The super cheap price of only 65 bucks. It looks beautiful. It sounds decent, and it plays pretty well without having to level the frets. Things that suck. The instructions, worthless. No hole for the bridge ground connection, and you definitely need that connection. And if you're one of those people that actually uses your tone knob does not work. Now I imagine on most of these kits the tone control will work just fine, but the fact that mine didn't work tells you the level of quality control that they have on their electronics. Now people ask me all the time what kind of kit they should get for their first build, and the best answer that I can give you is a kit like this. Why? Because it's high quality? Nope. Because it is cheap. It is literally the cheapest kit that you can buy. You always want to start your first build with the cheapest kit you can buy because you want to get your mistakes out and learn all your lessons on a cheap kit. Then, once you've learned how to get your kit to play as good as you want, you can start upgrading your components to make it sound the way you want. Then, once you've got your kit playing like a high-end instrument and sounding like a high-end instrument, you can take your skill and your components and transfer them over to a higher-end neck and body. But only if you're not happy with how your kit turned out. I mean, I've actually made some pretty awesome instruments out of these cheapo kits. In fact, go ahead and subscribe if you want to see me turn this kit into a high-end bass. Maybe I'll even turn it into a Jaguar bass. Ooh, that would be cool. Stick around and watch some of these other high-end instruments I've made out of cheap kits. You might just learn a thing or two for your own build. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars. Thanks for watching.